And we're live.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sticking through Josh's commercial. We are live with Ryan Smith, professional cornhole player in the ACL. Ryan, my man, thank you so much for joining us, dude. We really appreciate this.
Thank you guys for having me. It's a pleasure.
So we're going to start very basically, man. If you could just tell us a little bit about yourself. I know Greg has some questions. Josh has some questions about actual cornhole things. I got some questions for you. So just give us a little elevator pitch about yourself, my man.
So a little background. I grew up in Ashland, Virginia, which is about 10 minutes outside of Richmond. I went to college at James Madison University. I played football there. After graduating in 2012, I moved to Northern Virginia, and I sort of got into the cornhole thing around 2014, 2015. I went to a tournament with my brother, seen that some guys were pretty good, went back, bought some boards, bags, and got to it.
So did you play in a tournament before you played casually? Because I know, like, I grew up, this was the graduation party game or the tailgate game or something like that.
I mean, well, I couldn't really tailgate just because I played football. So, I mean, I played a couple of times at house parties and things here and there, but nothing serious or any tournaments or anything like that. It was more so tailgating at an NFL game or something like that. But
that's awesome. Yeah. Go ahead, Greg. You got questions? You're being
I do. So, Ryan, first off, thank you for joining the show. We really do appreciate it. First of all, I just wanted to ask real quick, what you drinking, my man?
I got a Citra IPA. I'm a big beer fan. The funny thing is I don't drink much when I play. I like to focus, but I do keep a good beer stock.
Okay, so that's tip number one.
Yeah, most of my cornhole questions are going to be about playing drunk, just to set the standard right there, man.
All right, shit. That's going to be tough.
So Ryan, I actually did kind of look at the ACL's website earlier, and I don't know if they've updated their stuff lately, but it does say that you're top 5 currently in the ACL singles. So shout out to that. I don't know if that's been updated lately or not.
Well, yeah, it's actually based off of because we've only had one of our big national events this year because the other ones had to be put on hold and canceled in a way due to the COVID and things. So the standings are reflecting from the national back in Super Bowl weekend in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Okay. Yeah. So I did just want to kind of get your thoughts on this. So you mentioned that you went to a tournament and you kind of got hooked right away on cornhole. So what was kind of your reaction to finding out, first off, that there was a league for this type of game? And then what is it that kind of got you hooked on it right away?
Well, one other thing I forgot to mention, I grew up playing horseshoes, so I was big. Horseshoes was big around my life.
Okay.
So I played a lot of horseshoes before going to school. And then just going to the tournament, it was like a blind draw tournament where you get a random partner. It was outdoors at, I think, Buffalo Wild Wings. So, man, I went there. It was a pretty cool setup. Everyone was cool, friendly. I mean, it's competitive, so I'm competitive, so I liked it. And then, after that tournament, I wanted to get my own equipment and things and start practicing so that the next one I went to, I was ready to, I could compete and, finish in a top place and things like that. So, yeah, after that, the rest is pretty much history. I just kept getting hooked, kept practicing, kept messing around with different techniques and things like that until I found what I liked.
So I have to ask, man, you're a former football player. You're playing cornhole. Do you guys talk shit in the cornhole league?
It's funny. You would think. I would say more the local league play and things like that. You'll find more trash talking and things like that. But at the national events, everyone's pretty focused. When we're on the boards, everyone's either got headphones in or they're narrowed in on the boards and their partners, or if it's singles, it's not much talking. You might say good bag or good shot here and there, but everyone's pretty dialed in and focused.
Dang. So Ryan, I'd imagine kind of when you started, like the idea of playing for the ACL was more, I don't know if you necessarily thought that there'd be kind of a big future in the sport of cornhole or anything like that, but now we're at a point where the ACL is on ESPN and it's televised to millions of home around the country and all that. Can you kind of just speak to what you see maybe as the growth of the league in general and kind of what you see as the future of cornhole moving forward?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely growing. Like you said, when I first started, I just wanted to play to do something to stay competitive because I seen that a lot of people were shifting from horseshoes to cornhole. Cornhole was the up and coming thing. So it's like, let me get into this. I mean, I didn't think much about it, you know. And then, I mean, now that it's like you said, it's on ESPN. It's like people are looking like, oh, this isn't just your, you know, tailgating game. This is like people are taking this serious, making good money and things like that. So I mean, sort of took off from there. And then I still have a full-time job, but this is my stress reliever when I'm at a hard day of work and things like that. So,
I wanted to point that out
Josh, you can't put your hand up because your stress reliever is to drink and then play cornhole. His is to play. You can't put your hand up there.
Cornhole is my stress creator. That's
I real quick wanted to point this out because I remember watching like a little bit of the ACL on ESPN, and I actually did see that everyone that came up, they still had their occupation like down beneath right there. And I thought that was so interesting. Like there was stuff that I think someone was like a lawyer, someone was a data analyst or stuff like that. It's kind of cool that you guys have just all of these different people that have different occupations, but just come together for the love of cornhole.
Definitely. That's the great part about it. You know, everyone comes from different backgrounds, different occupations and things like that. And then we all just meet at the boards, friendly competitions. And yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
And I kind of asked Josh this question before, and I don't know anything. In all seriousness, did something like ESPN The Ocho help spark some kind of fandom in cornhole? Because we knew what cornhole was, but I didn't know there was a league until it was like 6 years ago. They started talking about it on The Ocho. Obviously, it's being aired just on ESPN now as its own show. Is it still a niche sport, do you think, right now, or is it kind of evolving into an actual what people consider sport?
I mean, it's evolving because, I mean, you could say it's a niche sport, but it's sort of evolving into its own thing. You know what I mean? It's something like bowling and things like that. It wouldn't, because there's a lot of crazy things that you see on the Ocho that I didn't even know existed. I mean, I
watched the Electrician World Championships last summer, and they had to put on lighting outside of a shed and got timed. So,
there's a lot of things I didn't know exist. So I feel like a lot of people know about cornhole. They just maybe don't know it's at this level yet, but it's definitely turning a lot of heads with all the broadcast and things like that that's been on ESPN. So it's definitely helped.
Ryan, is there anything that right now that you could probably foresee? Maybe what do you think it is that your league needs to do to kind of take that next step forward to maybe kind of get more mainstream publicity or even kind of get more recognition in the public eye when it comes to cornhole in general?
I mean, I think the ESPN broadcast and things like that is the right direction. I mean, it's just getting it out there to more and more people, turning more and more heads, you know, getting on, you know, we've been on talk shows and things like that, just bringing more attention to it around the world that, hey, this isn't just your tailgate game. It's actually, there's guys that have a technique. They craft this. This is like legit. So, yeah, just all the public, you know, publicity, social media, things like that, just getting it out there to everyone so that it just keeps getting blasted all over the place.
What was it like to play? I believe you were with Daniel Jones, right, against Matt Sorrells and Sam Darnold?
Yep.
How was that match? Was that cool? Can you talk a little bit about that? Because that's one of those things where it's combining, you know, obviously stars in the NFL with stars in the ACL to try to make fans of each aware of the other type of situation.
That's pretty cool, man. They're pretty cool dudes. You know, we met up with them backstage before we actually went on to the, you know, broadcasting boards, you know, hung out with them, talked for a bit, and then it was pretty cool. It's a pretty cool experience. I mean, I've never done that before, you know, so it was a cool experience and it was good for everyone.
Did you ever want to yell at Daniel? You're like, damn, a little bit to the left, man.
Nah, it's all good. Nah, it was good.
Ryan, do you so because of you actually being able to pair with Daniel Jones, have you ever thought about maybe who would be your dream cornhole partner?
Sorry, can you run that back? You cut out a little bit.
Yeah, sorry about that. Have you ever after competing with Daniel Jones and all that, have you ever thought about maybe who would be your dream cornhole partner?
And that's why Josh pointed at himself, because he really apparently wants to play cornhole with you, Ryan, but your dream cornhole partner.
So it cut out a bit. Sorry, I caught. I caught the part about. Oh, 1 second.
Yeah, it's lagging a little bit. I think he just asked your dream cornhole partner, your dream cornhole scenario with Daniel Jones being your last fame partner.
dream? Oh, man. They put me on the spot there. I haven't actually thought about that.
We can come back to it if you want to,
Yeah,
man.
we'll come back.
Yeah.
I'll sit on that.
Do you think them being quarterbacks gave them an unfair advantage to throw it? Because I just want to say I didn't know how far 27 feet was until I tried to set it up this weekend, and then I moved it back to 17 feet, and it's so much easier to make it in at 17, man.
I mean, I don't think it gave them any – being a quarterback, it doesn't give them any advantage. I mean, you still have to – it's something you actually have to practice. If you're not used to throwing at 27 feet,
yeah.
when you first get to boards there, you're going to be like, oh, shit, this is pretty fun. I mean, it's – so, yeah, I think it's something you definitely just got to get used to.
Yeah.
Practicing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'd like to transition the portion of the interview to helping Josh with his game, Ryan, if you're cool with that, bud.
He needs
Yeah,
it.
sounds good to me.
So, okay. I just want to start with one. What did you do? Because obviously, playing at James Madison, you are aware of what you have to do to keep your body in shape, keep you ready. How did you transition your workouts from defensive back to being a cornhole player? Is there anything you actually would recommend Josh work out specifically for cornhole?
All jokes aside, probably. It depends. Part of it depends on your motion, how you throw. Some people stand, some people step, things like that. But I mean, a lot of people, it's the wrist action. It's like really the flick of the wrist is the most important part about.
Josh doesn't have a flick, man. It's kind of like he stands 2 foot together with his arm in front of him and then jerks like a catapult. And it looks like it's going to be an issue. It's intense.
Can we talk about your step though? Because I mean, you really do have a really late step. You stay right at the front of that board, and then you step just after you let go. When did you develop a step, and why are you a step guy?
My step was natural from just horseshoes, because just stepping, playing horseshoes, and then as I started playing, I did a full step when I played horseshoes, and then when I first started playing cornhole, it was a full step, and then after practicing numerous tournaments, I just gradually started tweaking little things. I went to like a half step. I tried standing still, and then I sort of just fell on this like toss and then like a crossover step in front of the board. Right. After I released, so almost like a follow through, and that was like accidental. I wasn't even trying to do that. It just so happened.
Yeah.
Do you feel like when you let go of the bag and you've stepped wrong, like do you have that like, oh, it's gonna go off, or I'm not gonna get what I want here?
It's more so. I wouldn't say the step. It's more so the release. Sure. I can tell almost right away with the release if it didn't flick right, or I can almost tell that it's going to either go too far, too short, or left or right without even seeing that, seeing just almost immediately after leaving my hand, I can tell if I missed it or I did something out of the ordinary.
I don't think a lot of people know, because, the bags you buy at Target are all smooth on both sides. But the ACL actually plays with a smooth side and a sticky side, correct?
Correct. So yeah, there's usually generally a slower side and a faster side. Given that most bags nowadays are faster all around, so you don't see many people at a competitive level playing with traditional suede side. On the sticky side, it's more so it's slower than the other side, but it's not the traditional suede. The bag is just faster all around, and that's what most of the league or everyone's been shifting to, is just a faster bag all around.
And so that helps with, basic cornhole strategy. Like, just walk people through, you have possession and you get to throw your 4 bags first. What are you trying to do to beat your opponent?
Different people have different strategies. Some people's strategies is they're just going to put them all in the hole. You're going to outbag them. Me, I've played against a lot of the top guys, so I know their tendencies. I know what they're good at. I know what they struggle in. So for me, I sort of look at all of that, and then I'll go into a game. I'm trying to put my first 4 bags, 8 bags in the hole. I'll try to gauge how my opponent is playing. If they're off, if I notice they're off, then I'm not going to worry about trying to do anything fancy. I'm just going to put my 4 bags in and keep getting the points each round. But, I mean, if they start bagging, we're going hole for hole, we put like 8, 12 bags in and it's 0-0, then I sort of get annoyed. Then I'm like, all right, I don't want to just keep doing this. So I'll maybe throw a blocker or something and see, okay, do they have a good airmail? Or how are they about pushing my bag? And, make them think a little bit opposed to just shooting on an open board.
How much, I think the biggest, leap that people make in Cornhole is when they figure out the block, right? The second you're like, oh, a block and replace is a deadly combination to be able to have, right?
It is. I mean, I would say first focus on putting them all in, getting an airmail next. And then after you got those two, once you feel comfortable with those 2 things, then you can start working on blocks. Because, I mean, a block bag, if you can get it right, it does make your opponent think, and a lot of people struggle. I mean, there's a lot of guys that have a soft, high bag that they rely on the board, the speed of the bag just sliding in the hole. So if you throw a block up there, that slow, high bag is just going to hit and kick out every time with the blocker sitting there in front.
Right.
Not to cut in on your ass, Josh. 2 comments came in, Ryan. One, my mother loves your elephant drawing or painting behind you. She says that is amazing. My parents have watched. I love it, man. 2, if I said to you in the most professional scenario, whatever it is, if you go over 21.
Oh, here we go.
That's great. I love it.
I'll explain the controversy. But first, if you go over 21, what happens?
Nothing. I mean,
Thank you.
The way I'm used to playing, nothing happens. But of course, there's the tailgater rules and things, the bus rule.
So I don't know if you had done any research on the videos or anything we produce, but we try to do a couple different ones. We did a field goal kicking competition that'll come out. We did a wiffle ball home run derby, but the one we did was a cornhole tournament where Josh played another member of ours named Ben, and after game 1, Josh's league plays that if you go to 21 and you just keep going over and you score whatever, you win. But because the other guy didn't know the rules and was a tailgater, he thought you go back to 15, and it caused arguably the most controversy in our 2.5 years we've been alive. It was earth shattering.
Yeah, that's definitely something.
It was hilarious too.
You definitely got to clarify that at the beginning of the tournament.
Okay, see, Josh, I'm sorry. That's PPMing. Ryan Smith says you got to clarify that. It was so the reason it was funny is because he walked away, hand in the air, and we'll personally, I'll make Josh send you that clip because it is hysterical. But we get out of it.
Great.
And the crowd basically boos against Josh. He did end up winning after we clarified the rules, but I just want to get your opinion on that.
Yeah. So, there's definitely different rules. Most people nowadays, the bus rule doesn't apply. It's 21 or over, you win. But there's definitely a lot that still play at the social level and things, the tailgate level that still play. That go back to 21, or if you go over 21, you go back to 15 or 13 or something like that.
Okay. And just speaking of the social level, how many times out at bars or when your friends mention what you do you get challenged? Because Josh said he gets challenged at the bar.
I usually try to stay low key, and if I go out where I see, I probably
wear your jersey out and about.
I usually don't bother. I'm usually busy drinking and things like that. But I'll get on it, and then someone will mention. So I try to just downplay it and just throw bags, just not really focusing and just trying to blend in because I don't want to
You'll throw a couple left and right so no one knows you're really good at the game. You'll just send one over that way.
I'll try to blend in and keep going.
Ryan, I like that. You separate fun versus your profession. That's great.
Oh, that's good, man. What else do you like to do, man? I know you used to play football. Tell us a little bit about Ryan Smith past Cornhole.
Outside of Cornhole, outside of work, I like to play video games. I'm a big Call of Duty player.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Warzone, man. That's my thing.
Are you PlayStation or Xbox?
PlayStation.
All right. Well, so what we did last Friday, we had a couple guys do a Warzone stream on our Twitch channel. So if you're ever down to play Warzone with a couple dudes, and we'll Twitch stream it, brother.
They're really bad.
That'd be cool. Yeah, so
I got a kill.
I've been playing that a lot lately. I've been working from home a lot, so
yeah.
Outside of throwing by myself, Call of Duty's been the go-to.
I think couple more things, then we'll wrap this up because we don't want to keep you too long. The glove. You wear a glove. Like, walk me through that, because I have experimented.
You know my next question after this, Josh.
With so much gear. I've had hand warmers. I've had wrist wraps.
A New England Patriots hand warmer. I don't know what team you support, but it was a New England Patriots hand warmer in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and it just sat wrong.
So much controversy.
Explain to me, like, why you wear the glove, what it gives you, that kind of thing.
So the whole idea behind that is before I started wearing the glove, I mean, my hands, my body temperature, I get hot. So I usually try to wear, if I'm not on a broadcast where I have to wear my, jersey and thing, I try to wear tank tops, cutoffs. I just need to stay cool.
You got some guns on you. I noticed, brother. You got some
Josh
guns
also
on
wears tank tops. They just look a little bit different.
And we got the left arm tattoo club going. You know what I mean? Like, I see you. I see you.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, I get – my body temperature gets hot and my hands sweat like crazy. I mean, like dripping sweat. So I would always carry a towel. I'm, like, always washing my hands in between matches because, I mean, playing with sweaty hands, it just sticks to the back of the bag and it screws up my throw. So Eric Ryder, who's also an ACL pro, he designed this glove and he sent me a prototype. He's like, hey, you want to try this out? I'm like, sure, why not? So he sent it to me, and it took me a little while to get used to it, but it did the job. It blocked the sweat, and that's the number one reason I use it. I mean, I can still feel my hands sweating under the glove, but it doesn't stick to the bag. The main thing, I can release the bag, the same way every single time without having to worry about my sweaty hands affecting my throw.
Awesome. And then I think we want to talk about this, and I'm sure you're familiar with the clip, but I'm going to play it while we talk about it. Damon Dennis, that and one shot was just incredible.
Yeah. I want to know from a perspective of pro, like how incredible was it? Because for the average, for me, I'm like, oh, that was cool. And then I'm told how cool it was. How unreal was that shot?
I mean, it's awesome to do it on a broadcast and things like that in front of everyone. It's nuts. I mean, and from people that aren't used to watching it at a level like that, it's a ridiculous shot. But believe it or not, I mean, there's so many good players. That shot gets hit a lot. Like people have perfected it now. It's like at first it was like, oh, you just threw your airmail a little deep and you got lucky and knocked it off. But no, people actually have perfected the backside airmail to purposely knock a bag off.
I did it against my dad, but I hit my own bag off and then and then he scored 3 points. So it just wasn't correct. So.
Ryan, why don't you tell us about some of your sponsors, and then we'll let you go here, bud.
Definitely. All Cornhole, Beltway Baggers. Beltway Baggers is my local group. We usually throw at breweries in the Moose Lodge and things like that. Wendy, Woody, love you guys. Chad and All Cornhole, that's my main sponsor. Appreciate everything you guys do. So.
All right.
Yep.
Awesome, man. Well, Ryan, honestly, we really appreciate you jumping on, man. This has been awesome. Fulfilled a lot of dreams. I know the Cornhole team was watching tonight as well as Josh. So, man, anytime we can help you out or we can connect again like this in the future, you're absolutely welcome back on the show. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, Ryan, thank you so much.
It'd be awesome. Hopefully sometime in the future we can get a –
Who is like your NFL or NBA team? What's the sports teams you're a fan of? So we know when to call you.
I'm a Washington Redskins fan.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I like Haskins. The front office. Ugh.
Oh, man.
I stick with them through the thick and thin. So I got faith in them this year. So I'll go back out there and watch a few games.
We respect that, man. Don't worry. We respect it.
Love it, man.
I almost forgot. Is the bucket hat not the official headwear of cornholers everywhere?
This is the first question he asked when I mentioned that I had emailed you. He wanted to ask us, and he almost forgot.
I wouldn't say it's the official hat. I think Noah Wooten, who's also an ACL pro, I think he was the one that first started wearing the bucket hat on, in the tournaments, big tournaments and broadcasts and things like that. So he's probably the one that started the whole thing. You don't see many people wearing the bucket hats unless it's in outdoor tournaments. Then you start seeing all that. But usually it's just regular ball caps and things like that.
All right.
Just normal people hats, Josh. No big deal.
All right, Ryan. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Ryan.